Good morning. I hope we're alive. JT here in the studio with you, kind of playing around here with some last minute stuff here and see if I can get it to work or not. Anyways, man, welcome to the morning drive. And we are back with another edition of it. And we got pretty much a full on just jam-packed day today. It is full of, well, what's it full of? Be nice. It's full of Big Rig Build Off. It's full of Mid-America Truck Show, Paul K. Young, Bryan Bossman Martin, Four State Trucks. I mean, it's full of everything action-wise and fun-wise that's coming up in our world here in the real short and close, not too distant future, as they should say. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to go to that I would normally open up with and talk to you guys about. But our guest, Bryan, the boss man, is today. He is here and he's on a short leash, as they say. Oh, look, the studio cam is on. He's on a short leash. And so we got to get him in and out. And I think he's got to be out of here like in about a 15-minute stretch. So we got a bunch of fun stuff that we want to cover. And I want to bring him in. And of course, my co-host, Mr. Brandon Carpenter, and get the show rolling. Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, as they say. Good to have you on the show, Bryan. Thanks for taking the time out this morning, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love getting on here with you guys.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. You know, we're fighting the tornado weather here right now, so I may cut in and out. We'll see. It's definitely it's a little western outside.
So are you in that, I guess, lane of destruction that I've been watching here on the West Coast? I mean, let me see, through Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, I guess. Is that right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just now. All that weather is just now extending into Ohio. So the cold front's coming, and we're bearing the brunt of it right now, currently.
Bryan, how you doing over there, buddy? Are you guys okay?
You know, we've had some close calls. I would call them severe thunderstorms, a little bit of straight line wind right here in southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. But so far, so good. This has been going for like 7, 8, 9 days off and on a bit.
Yeah,
we're good.
They showed the devastation in Michigan. I don't know exactly where it was, but man, I mean, when I turn my TV on, the first channel that comes up is Fox Weather, and these guys. I mean, if you ever wanted to get hardcore training as a weathercaster, you go there and then branch out and make it to a big, network somewhere. But those guys eat, breathe, and what weather, right? I mean, Holy crap! Try to make it weather entertaining or at least get your attention. These guys are pretty good at it, and they've been showing some footage, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm glad you guys are safe, and Brandon, I hope everything works out and we don't lose you out there. Did you hear from our memory guy, Matt? Is he on or out?
I texted him. I have not heard back from him currently, so
all right.
He might be out.
I hope he hasn't fallen down and can't get up, and he's going to be all right. So, Bryan, we have a third guy on our regular scheduled program, and his name's Matt. He's a longtime friend of Brandon's, and he's our memory guy. He's the guy that keeps everything straight, and he's always looking things up and checking and referencing and keeping us on track. And if we can't remember something, he's the guy that remembers it for us. And I really hoped he'd be here, but we'll see if he shows up or not. But
we all need a guy like that on our team.
Exactly. That's our demo right there. Everybody's kind of going, what was that guy's name? When did that happen? What was that? Yeah, that's us. Okay.
It's pretty common we can't remember things. We're all getting up there. I guess I'm the youngest guy in the room, but we're all getting that age. It's getting a little harder now. So
no, you are the young buck in this crew, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's no secret, and I want to shout out to everybody that's tuning in. By the way, we're on my personal timeline today. I wanted to give it a shot again and see if it works out. Of course, 10-4 Magazine, Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our X account. The X account, there seems to be some sort of issues there, but we'll hopefully be able to know if we're getting in or out of there. It looks like Bryan went dark there, so he may have to reboot, but we'll get him back in. But anyway, obviously the big thing on everybody's mind, and today at 5:00 on the weekly update, we're going to have the Big Rig Build Off competitors in the studio, everything that they're doing and everything that everybody's doing to get ready for this show in Louisville is happening right now, and it's a big deal. There's a lot to it. And Bryan did this. Of course, he's there every year, and he'll be back this year. But last year, he was one of the build-off competitors. So that's the idea, was to get him in there. Let me see if I can shake the cage here, and yeah, he checked out. So we'll get him back in here. Anyway, he was
he's probably trying to reboot.
What's that? Yeah, he's got to reboot the phone, internet, probably. Or maybe some wind came through and knocked that thing right off him. I don't know. Hopefully it's not the case. But from a competitor standpoint, what is it like in this thing? And we're going to hear about that this afternoon. But I wanted to get it from the man himself. There he is. You're back, my friend. Hey.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. I have, anytime we deal with technology, I have no idea what happened, but I'm back. Yeah,
don't worry. Hey, an ant came across the tele thing and the jigger, and wiped it out, and that was it. It happens all the time. Where we're at with what we're talking about with you is, last year you had a beautiful 359 that was in the show, and you competed with, and I mean it was like the big rig build off of the 359s last year, but that truck has a whole story to it. I mean, a long time, truck of yours to finally get it to the point where it was able to be in that competition, man. Give us a little bit, from up above. What was it like to take that thing and get it there?
Well, like you said, there's a whole backstory behind that truck. I'm 58 now, and I've had that truck since I was probably about 21 or 23 years old. And when I bought it, it was wrecked. And, like any hot-headed kid, I just took it all apart. I mean, I took the cab off, pulled the engine, everything else.
Gonna do everything. Gonna fix everything. Yeah.
Life happens, and like, oh man, I'm not gonna finish that right now. So you shove it over in a corner, and then you're raising kids, and then you sell that house and move to another house. So the pieces of that truck, that 359, got moved to 3 different residences over a long period of time, 20 plus years. But the Davis brothers up in Indiana have become great friends, and, longtime customers, and just all around great guys to run around with and hang out with. And they also have a great reputation for building fantastic trucks. As a matter of fact, last year was 25. I think they were the 23 and 24 build-off champions, or were they just the 24 build-off champions? I can't even remember.
They were let's see, the rock and roll wagon they built, that rig
that won the year prior.
Yeah,
so they were defending champions, and I said, hey, you guys are going to go defend your crown, how about
kinda, yeah. I mean, they built it. It was your truck, but they built. Yeah, okay, right,
exactly. Yeah. So I said, let's do this 359 together, and we'll build a hell of a truck, a trucker's truck. It may win, but it may not, because I didn't want to go like exotic. Like, I didn't want to go with all the tricky widgets and high-end electronics and power operated everything and all the sculpting and things like that. I kind of wanted a new 1980s 359 with an old school trucker flair that any third generation, second generation trucker would say, you know what, that's a fine ride right there. And so that's what I kept my eye on. That's what Kevin up there and Bryan, that's what they planned. And they delivered. Like, they just completely nailed it. It's truly, and I've been around hundreds, maybe even 1,000 trucks. It is the truck of my dreams. It is the truck I wanted, like, to a T. Like, they just nailed it. Now, we were talking sometimes 3 to 5 times a day, trips up there, delivering parts, checking things out, looking at paint splotches. And it was pretty intense, but at the end of the day, it was so worth it. It was so worth it. It's an awesome truck.
You mean you were like a bride decorating her very first house?
Well, let's just say I had Kevin on speed dial and he had me on speed dial, and that last 2 weeks was intense. It was probably 10 or 12 times a day.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and you brought this point up. They were defending. Yes. At the same time, I think the notoriety of that truck kind of went more to you than it did them. Be it, even though Kevin was there, and when I interviewed him, that's who I interviewed.
Yeah.
And he walked me around it and gave us the up close view into what that truck was and how it was put together and why it was put together the way it was. All of it, So we got that. Young Luke, obviously, here's the irony in this. He's the age you were when you tore that thing down.
Yeah.
And yet, I put that out there because, let me tell you, man, hats off to that kid. He pulled it out, right? There's just no taking away from the fact that he did. It worked,
Oh yeah, it was an awesome build, and just an awesome, I don't know if you'd call it theme, like the showmanship on it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot of appeal, and you can't discount, like we called it the 359 weekend for build-off trucks, but Billy Warner's cab over, which had that 80s Pete, he fell right in there with all of us.
Yeah.
Man, that thing stood a mile high tall. That thing was right. It was dialed in as well. So it was definitely old school Pete week.
Well, and that was kind of the thing at the show last year. I'm glad there was a cab over in that build off, because boy, did they make a resurgence in the show.
Yeah.
There was just a ton of cab overs representing, some super, super awesome cab over trucks in there. And here to your point, any guy back in, and yours was what, 80, was it an 85, 80? What year was your truck?
We'll call it an 86.
86. Okay. So back in 86, anywhere in there, any guy driving, Peterbilt 359 USA could look at that truck and go, I used to sit in one of those every day and haul a load. And it may not have looked as shiny and clean as yours did, but they had one, and representation of that model and that truck was there on every place in that truck.
Oh yeah, it was, the 359s had a lot of actually just the old Pete's had a lot of nuances to them. They have a certain sound when you slam the door. They've almost got a certain smell. When you lower the hood, there's a certain rigmarole you got to go through to make sure it goes down straight and doesn't tear up like your air filter teardrops. There's a lot of nuances to them that kind of give them a lot of sentimental flair, I guess you'd say. And that's part of the appeal. I grew up around them. And so, I love an A model Kenworth. I love a cab over Freightliner, but my dads and uncles, they all sort of had 359s when I was in my formable, 11 to 18 years, 11, 12, 14, 18 years old. So I really fell in love with them. And that's why I went with that make and model right there.
So here we go. Let's talk about that smell. Was that be Brute, Aquavelva, High Karate? What was that favorite truck?
I don't know, but I would say, probably closer to the Aquavelva. Yeah.
Right.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost just like a vintage truck smell.
Bourbon and mahogany and diesel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Brandon's done a few builds, to say the least. And Brandon, what did you think of that truck last year?
It was amazing. I'll tell you, it's always, I always love going to some of those bigger shows, and as most people know, my heart's with the old stuff, and it's always cool to get there and see so much cool old iron that's just right, and that truck was right. It just had everything, when you walked up to it, it's just like, it's a work of art, and that's what I always appreciate about them is people that don't really do the old trucks don't quite understand the love and the challenge of doing something like that. And, to see something that somebody really put that kind of time and effort into, it's always, regardless of what it is, even some of the ones that, some of these guys that they don't quite have them done yet and they're still working on them, they're just beautiful, to see what they've done and the modification and just the hours it took to do something like that is amazing.
Yeah. Something worth pointing out too is that truck of mine was really every builder's nightmare. We hate this situation at Four State, and I'm sure the Davis team was not any more excited than any of us would be. But, you know, that truck was delivered in pieces. It wasn't even together. Like, we took up the cab, hood, and sleeper. I took up the engine, the transmission. We hauled the frame rail. Later, here come the tires and things like that. And when you don't have a whole truck to dismantle with your own hands and label everything and put all the bolts and brackets, you know, in your little system, it's a mega challenge. And that is exactly what they had to suffer through and figure out. You know, wiring was a challenge, plumbing was a challenge, because they did not really take it apart. They were only on the assembly side of it, which makes it really tough.
It's in
Things I
my
always
day.
find interesting.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Well, I was just going to say it's always interesting to me with these old trucks, you know, whenever you get to a point like that where it's been apart for so many years, and either, you know, a new team has to come in and put it together, or it's just been so many years since you've taken it apart. You got to try to remember all that stuff. You basically become a vehicle engineer, you know, and that's what's always interesting about it is you know, and a lot of times when you put them back together, you know, there's much better ways than whenever, you know, they were originally built. So you're modifying those things, and it's really quite a challenge, you know, to
Yep.
get something like that done. And I know that, you know, from what I do, and it's people that don't do it, you know, I guess I'm sure they have an appreciation for it, but people that do, you have an even greater appreciation for what these guys go through.
Yeah. And you make a really good point. The end result was I got a better built, higher quality 1986 Peterbilt than that truck was in 1986. You know,
Yep.
just the products and tools and different things that are available now. It's better than it was back then, which is a really nice bonus for me.
There's a company out of Coos Bay, Oregon, and I don't know if either of you guys ever heard of them. You ever heard of a company called Custom Truck with a K?
Yep.
Heard
Yeah.
of them? Yes, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So those are the guys that do exactly what you're talking about when it comes to re-engineering a Caterpillar engine or a truck, and it used to be gliders, and that's a whole nother subject that we could probably just go down a rabbit hole on, is the re-engineering of how a truck's built when guys used to order gliders and put them together. But you end up with whatever could have been better or was than what they could buy off of the factory showroom floor, and
Right.
how it was put together and the quality of the materials that were put into it, on and on and on and on and on. Listen, I want to go down memory lane a minute here before we get too far into it. Want to share this with everybody because I always love making sure people get what we do here at 10-4 Magazine. Our website, 10-4magazine.com. Come on down to articles prior to 2011. We have a special vault just for you, Brian. And over here is cover features from that era. And you scroll back down, and you scroll back down, and you scroll back down. There we are. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? There it is. July 2004. And Dan just made a comment about this, the Outlaw truck, when it made its debut 20 years ago, changed everything. And Dan, you didn't catch it in a pre-production meeting. We were talking a little bit about this truck, but there was never anything like this truck, and it just had people shaking their heads because they couldn't wrap their heads around it. And that to me was the beauty of this truck, was you really had to know what you were looking at to go, oh my gosh, look at this thing. It is freaking awesome, because it is. Where's this truck at? Where did it end up?
It ended up in southern Louisiana. As far as I know, it is still there. A guy that we knew somewhat then, we know him a lot better now. He actually did not buy that truck for its nostalgic notoriety, popularity. He really bought it because he liked the specs, and he thought it was a good truck. He needed one right now. I sold it too cheap. And he actually, some years after he got it, he wrecked it, him or his driver. And they repaired all the bullet holes and painted it canary yellow. Like,
Oh, shit.
he did not buy it because it was the Outlaw truck, which was always kind of sad to me.
Yeah.
Because that truck really did. I refrain to use change it all for us, but it sort of did on the custom side. Like,
Yeah.
that truck caught everybody off guard. People just weren't expecting a doled out non-chrome sort of a rat rod motif in that era, especially from the Chrome Shop Mafia. They were expecting all the bling and bright colors and electronics, and it really just stumped people everywhere we went.
The cab and the detail work of this, when I opened the doors and looked in there, or maybe they were open, I stuck my head in there and I saw the detail work that was done in there. I went, wow, this was freaking cool. The 6-gun cylinders up there on the brake valves and all the billet and the foot pedals. Those pedals, I mean, did you guys get those from somebody or make those? Because those became a thing later on. Where did those come from?
Those were a guy in Kansas City. He's not even in business anymore, but there was a billet shop up there that he would do one-off stuff. He would even drive down here and kind of get our concepts, and we'd explain to him what we were looking for. And then, the next weekend or two, he would show up with the finished part. So kind of missed the skill set that he brought to the game. But he's not even in the biz no more.
I mean, how many knockoffs of those are there in the world now, right?
There's plenty. Yeah. And that's some of the fun of it is, what is it? Imitation is the ultimate form of flattery. But like you said, the 6-gun knobs, which back then we had to make, are now available at almost every truck stop and Chrome shop. So it's kind of cool to launch some of that stuff or be a part of it in some way.
Who knows? Maybe all them bullet hole stickers they sell to all the drivers out there was this bullet hole right here.
Could be.
They took a photograph of it and sold it 1 million times. Should have thought of that one, Bryan. That would have been another, 4-state exclusive, right?
All of those bullet holes, whether they were in the fuel tank, the door, the sleeper, on the back side of it, we built an aluminum box, and then we had to TIG weld or glue it in there so that, rainwater and mud, snow, and ice would not come into the inside of the truck or, obviously the inside of the fuel tank. But yeah, you could have made $1 million, $1 at a time, if you had $1 for every finger at a truck show that had been stuck in those bullet holes, because people come up and they kind of tilt their head like, that's a sticker, isn't it? And then they put their finger up there and no way.
Hey, aside from you dyeing your beard gray these days, you look the same, man.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that's exactly accurate. But I'll go with it.
Hey, take it and run with it, brother. Take it and run with it.
Right.
Oh man, Bryan, I would love to be able to go on and talk to you more, man. So we'll have to carve some time out when we can get you back on the show. I know you said you got a 9:30 you got to duck into, and we're right there against it. I'm going to let you get out and make your 9:30 happen. Thanks for taking the time. Best words of advice for the guys that are coming on this afternoon. What do you got for them?
Who you got this afternoon? You got this year's build-off competitors?
I got JC and Toby coming in representing the show, obviously, but I got all of our builders, James, Randy, Luke, and let's see. I should look at my own.
You got Stick down from Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
Hey, when it comes to the build-off, man, the code of the hour for success or sanity, and it's really too late for this to be implied, but you got to have discipline. Like those weekends and nights and days when you need to work on that truck, you cannot put it off to go here, there, or yonder. And it's tough, man. And when you do, and then you're working these last 10 days, you're working 20, 22-hour days. It takes a toll on the whole shop crew. But that discipline is the key to having not just a winning truck necessarily, but just sanity and being able to go to Louisville and have any semblance of enjoying the weekend down there and not just being wiped out. But I get it. A customer comes in, he needs this done. There's a ball game this weekend. You got to go do that. But man, you got to stay on point with these build-off trucks. The level of building today, I mean, our outlaw truck there would just be embarrassed if it was on the lot at Louisville today, because the quality measures now, the standards are so high and impressive. And what it takes to deliver that, it takes a lot of thousands and thousands of hours and a lot of dedication and attention to detail. But I would just say discipline, man. You got to work on that truck. The 10 weeks leading up to mats, the 6 weeks leading up to mats, the 4 weeks. Otherwise, you're playing this scramble at the end, and man, it's demanding on the builder and his entire crew.
What about this thought? And this will I'll leave it with you so you can share a thought quick back on it. But whether it's finished or not, get it as finished as you can get it and get it to the show, because you don't know what the other guy's bringing, right?
That is true. Yeah, I mean, some of the trucks last year were getting. Some of those 3 trucks were getting put together out on the back lot, and you never know. Like, everybody may be in a worse situation of running out of time than you are, and you could get there and win, and really didn't think you had a chance. So you make a really good point. It's a real world show. Yeah. Like, the worst thing you could do is not show up, and that happened last year with
the year before,
fourth competitor. Yeah,
and the year before.
So that's really. I would rather show up and show you the best I got done or the best I could do than not show up at all. And I think, just about everybody would. But hey, before I get off here, one more shout out to the guys up at Davis. Brian, Kevin, Brooks delivered an amazing. I mean, that was no easy paint job. And the bottom side of the hood, hey, the bottom side of the sleeper, the door jambs, looks just as good as the outside of the cab hood and sleeper. I was kind of teasing with Kevin. I think he said that was the lowest cost stereo he had put in like the last 10 years, because I gave him a $1,500 budget. Like I said, I wanted a trucker's truck, and the truck is at some point going to be working to some degree on our farm. But yeah, I think I got the lowest end stereo he had ever done, and it still sounds great to me. But those guys really delivered. They kept it fun, and I was just real happy. And on a project of that scale with that kind of financial investment, a lot of times there's some unhappiness, but I think they rocked it. I think they nailed it. And you'll see that truck again in the near future as we get it to work around here in the 4-state area.
I was going to ask, where's she sitting today and what's going on, but
it's at my house. I do have a shop I keep it in to keep it out of the weather, but I intend to put it to work on the farm. Now, hey, to work on the farm is probably 5,000-6,000 miles a year. We don't travel long distances doing what we do, but nonetheless, it's going to be fun to putz around in it for sure.
Yep. All right, Brian, I know you got to go. I appreciate your time. Thanks as always, and give a shout out to the family, and that includes everybody at the Chrome Shop Mafia at the shop, and let them know 10-4 is always thinking about you guys. We appreciate you, and look forward to next time we meet, which will be in Louisville, I'm sure.
Just a few weeks. You guys have fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, buddy.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
One of the good guys out there, and of course, a lot of either Brian or his guys. You got your guy you call when you buy something from 4 states out there, and they've been at this thing for a while. I mean, they've been at it. They're kind of one of the first goers at it, and if not, they were the ones who at least made us famous and got things rolling back there in the early 2000s with the Trick My Truck deal, and them, and of course Kevin and Rod Pickett, and just the whole thing that went on back then. Those days were cool, man. That was like the caveman days of of truck building. It was nobody'd ever seen anything like that. Nobody ever knew that this was even a thing, right?
Yeah. I think back to that was, and me being the young guy in the room, that was back where I was, first getting started in this business, and I was a young, truck mechanic. And I can remember, it used to upset me so bad because I'd watch Trick My Truck, and then I'd go into work the next day, and it was a fleet. It was all about production, and I'm like, man, I really just want to paint this piece and make it look good, because I saw that on the show last night, and, the shop foreman's going, don't touch that, put that back on. We're not painting that, And that's kind of how I started, into my whole, like, I want to do more with trucks was honestly, really, when I think about it, a lot of it had to do with them. I mean, they were the guys back in those days, they had it going on.
They were, man. If you had, what were they on? CMT, Country Music TV,
yep.
right?
Yep,
And,
CMT.
yeah, if you had that, you got Trick My Truck, and that was a big endeavor for that network to go in, and Bryan and Rod, Kev, they got a whole story on the production experience of that show and what that was like, and not all of it was fond, but because it was work, there was a lot going on to make that happen the way it looked on that we see, and listen, that's today, that's social media, there's that what you think's going on because that's what we tell you is going on. And then there's what's really going on, maybe behind the scenes, and it might not be so pretty back there, but it's getting done anyway, So
yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes people don't realize.
Yeah, they don't. You guys both brought this up, and it's so true. I think I said it. When you bring a truck in like Bryan did to Davis Brothers, and in pieces. We used to call that a basket case, and
yeah.
When I was a wrench back in the day working on four-wheelers, I can't tell you how many of those I did. And I became that guy. It's like, yeah, give it to John. He likes jigsaw puzzles. And I would get these things that people would bring in. Here's just for shits and giggles, as they say, somebody brought in an AMC, and it was a four-wheel drive. I forget what model those were, man, and this was back in the 80s sometime. AMC four-wheel drive. So I get this thing in pieces that somebody got from another shop that they had taken it to, and they couldn't figure out how to do what needed to be done with it anyways. They bring this thing in, and I get to putting this thing back together besides fixing what was wrong. And I'm like, this thing's got pieces from Dodge, from Ford, from whoever, what you name it. It is a freaking Frankenstein of pieces and parts. That's how it was built.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was, and I've gotten into, kind of rat rod pickups and cars here, in the past few years. And I was at a car show, and I've never really paid attention to AMC cars much. I'm a truck guy. I was never a car guy, so now I'm going to all these car shows and stuff, and I walk past an AMC and I'm like, wait a minute, the door handles are the same as an old International. And forever, I'm like, yeah. So I'm looking, going, well, hey, I've got how many 4300s that need door handles? And so then, like, I'm starting to think about it. And I'm like, well, if AMCs are still around and people are restoring them, somebody's got to have a connection, for door handles. Now, luckily, Ottoman started making them, but I'm just like, man, what a weird coincidence that an AMC car has the same door handle as an old International. It's, and I guarantee you when they were building it, they probably called up International. International's like, hey, we got 2 million of these door handles. We'll sell you, for 5 cents a piece. And that's probably how that came to be.
As they say, 100%. No, it was. I mean,
yeah,
there was just no denying that every pretty much, brand of manufactured whatever was in those AMCs from all different car manufacturers. And I'm just kind of like, I'm laughing at this going, this is ridiculous, man. It's like a, wild card. Okay, maybe this will work. Maybe this will probably fit here. Let's try it. And you know what it kind of becomes? And this is where if you have something that's been sitting for a long time and you've never done it before, you never put it together, took it apart, whatever, you're looking for, telltales that give up where something used to sit or how it was mounted or where it went, whether it's a dirt line, dust line, paint line, whatever, something to give a, little clue as to where it goes and how it fit. But man, I remember the AMC Javelin. I had a buddy that had an AMC Javelin that was their answer to whatever hot rod might've been out at the time. And this guy was a auto parts counter guy, and that's what he had. And it was a hot rod. And he was the only one, Monterey Peninsula, I swear to Christ, that was the only one that anybody had of that kind of car. and we all knew who it was. It was Dwight from from the auto parts store. Anyway, a lot of cool stuff that we got to talk about with Bryan and the upcoming show. Again, this afternoon, if you didn't know already, we've got Luke, Randy, James, and Andrew. Those are your 4 big rig build-off competitors. They're going to be on the show. We're going to find out where these guys are at with their builds. Do they have anything on the frame rails yet, or are they still bare? Is anything painted, or are we sandblasting, or where are we at with this thing? Because we all want to know. And also going to be on the show from Mid America Truck Show, and Paul K. Young is going to be JC Alt and Toby Young, both going to be on the show. So 5:00 Pacific time. Be sure and tune in for that. Stuff I wanted to talk about, would have been at the beginning of the show. And I'm sorry Matt's not here today. Matt, we miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because there's things I can't remember I wanted to say, and you would have been here and could have figured that out. What a weekend for motorsports, and just this month is just a bunch of motorsport stuff that's kicking off. Gator Nationals just happened. NHRA, holy crap. Did you watch any of that?
Dude, so I'm in full build mode. I kind of had to laugh when Bryan was talking about it, that, hey, you probably shouldn't go to that ball game. You probably shouldn't do this. And I'm sitting here, going,
sleep?
he's really
no sleep. No.
Yeah, he's kind of speaking to me right now.
Yeah, I get it.
I haven't slept a whole lot. What little bit of hair I have left is probably, I've probably lost an inch of my hairline the past couple of days.
I noticed that when we talked the other day. I'm like, he looks a little bit tighter around the ears there.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here, and but no, so I haven't really, to be quite honest with you, I have not really paid attention to what's going on in that world. I know I've heard little rumblings that there's quite a bit of things happening, but have not watched any TV or really looked at any of that stuff.
Holy crap. Well, I don't want to do any spoilers, so I'm not going to go into detail. Let me just say this. They took the Top Fuel teams and drivers and everybody and threw them in a dice cup and shook them and slammed them down on the table, and then they all got paired up. And when I say paired, they got repaired because it's all new, man. And the funny car guys, and I mean, it's like a redo of the whole freaking sport of Top Fuel, funny car, everybody, new sponsors. I mean, the cars, everything. The only car that was like anything close to me, what it looked like last year, is the Coletta DHL truck car.
Yep.
Car. That was the only one. And the rest of them, no, man. Oh, and this I will give up because Austin Prock didn't even qualify.
Wow.
Austin Prock did not qualify. New team.
Wow.
He jumped ship from John Force and went over to the Ford guys and didn't even qualify. So, well, listen, he's going to qualify. He's going to probably be, crazy good again, as he always is. But, who knows? We'll see what happens. Exciting and fun. And I got to give my hat off, to NHRA and everything that they have done to reinvigorate their sport. I'm not going to say reinvent, to reinvigorate their sport. It's a team effort. It's all the people involved because it takes everyone to make it happen.
Didn't they also, because I know that there was a company that was actually going around purchasing all the drag strips too, has kind of turned that, drag strip world upside down too. I know they purchased one of our local drag strips, and man, they put some serious money in it. We're actually going to be getting the Top Fuel cars here now. They extended the track, so it is longer now, so we can get the Top Fuel cars out there, and it's going to be very interesting here on the local scene. Even that
are you talking NHRA or IHRA? Because NHRA is back. Yeah, where's Matt? Damn it, Matt! I don't know. Now I'm mad now. Where's our Google guy?
Right.
Uh,
I was thinking it was yeah. So it's IHRA is what I'm talking
IHRA,
about.
yeah. The IHRA is back, and
Yep.
there's a lot of guys that went over to IHRA, International Hot Rod Association,
Yep.
which it's kind of like the old days of AFL, NFL, and for those of us that can remember that far back at times, this is what it is for the NHRA and IHRA. Same, they've got a little bit of deal. I think what they need to do is, and I don't know that they haven't or won't, is put it together so that there's kind of that at the end of the season, the best of the best from each of their worlds, face off. I think that would see what happens there. Frank Strohmeyer, what's up, brother? Dragway 42.
Yep. That's what I'm referring to. Frank knows being a local guy. It's there's a storied legacy with that raceway, and it's quite a. I'm glad to see that they bought it and they're pouring money into it, and the legacy of it can continue on, and it's going to get even better now. So,
well, and here's the thing, man. There's so much, and gosh, there's so many things we're used to having in front of us and within reach and able to do and be a part of, and then all of a sudden headlines, they're gone. That's no more. This is no more. That's no more. And some of this stuff, and I'll use what's the restaurant country or what am I thinking of?
Ponderosa?
No, man. No. The where they tried to rebrand and everybody said you guys are idiots.
Cracker Barrel.
Thank you. Cracker Barrel, okay. Bud Light moment, for Cracker Barrel. Right? And they recovered. Okay. Bud Light, it cost them dearly to recover. And thankfully Dana White, and his world bought into it and said, well, let me rephrase that. Bud Light bought into their world and became the, beer of choice for UFC. But point being, they had the money to recover. There's a lot of businesses that don't. And man, that, that jet powered Amish buggy can go faster now.
So Frank knows, so we actually have a jet-powered Amish buggy that shows up every year, to certain events. So that's always quite a hit in this community. It always cracks me up because the little Amish boys come up to the fence because they're not allowed to be there, but they hang on the fence, and of course that's a fan favorite around this area.
Rooting for the home team, are they?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's classic, man. We need that at Trucking for Kids. By the way, Trucking for Kids is coming up. First week of May at Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield, California. If you are not registered yet and you want to be involved in the show and get out there and show off what you got, or you want to race or do both, whatever you're going to do, get it done. Get registered today. 104magazine.com. You can go there and click on the tab for the race and get registered and get it all squared away. Other stuff that's going on, man, that just this is that time of year where the season's changing, everything's kind of waking up, we're getting going. We got Mid-America going on, everybody's getting prepped and ready for that. Sporting world's changing, some stuff, of course, is in hibernation, except for the business end of it, and the NFL is seeing tons of that go on right now. But the fun part of it, and that's baseball season. My Giants are getting ready to open up along with everybody else, and been watching some of the Cactus League in Florida. They have their preseason league there as well. But they've been going at it, and it's been a lot of fun, especially if you're a Giants fan. Everybody out there watching the Giants, I think they're like 12, 13, 14, and 2 record right now, which is incredible. It means nothing in the scheme of baseball, but I think it means we got some good talent out there, and things are looking good. But you guys that are out there trucking, man, and everybody out there that's running every day. Frank is running right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Are you XM serious guys and you listen to all the sports stuff? Are you listening to us when we're live or play back on your devices while rolling down the road? What are you guys doing out there? I'm curious, because there's so many different ways to get information, entertainment. Keep yourself awake when you need to. Turn the most irritating noise out of the stereo you can. I was laughing when Bryan was saying that he gave them a $1,500 budget. Not that was the laugh. The laugh was, it was the cheapest thing that Kevin had ever put into a truck. I'm thinking, so was it Krakow, Phillips, Philco, or what kind of radio was that? Because it wasn't
Panasonic.
I don't know, because I remember though, I mean, off the shelf, the cheapest little, radio that you could get that was like a hot rod radio was a Krakow. I don't know if anybody remembers those stinking things or not. Do you remember those Krakow?
I don't remember them. That was before my time, but I can remember, I can remember going to Walmart. And there was some,
Krakow was a Walmart thing. It was a discount store brand. I don't think they're around anymore, but man, that was like, you get that. And Frank says YouTube, and then Chris on Facebook. So there's guys that told me a lot that they are listening to the show while they're driving down the road. I take that as a thank you, first of all. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's kind of a badge of honor, man. I appreciate you guys putting us on there and listening to us, and go on about whatever it is we're going on about. And sometimes it may be something, other times, who knows?
I just feel special. They chose us over Katy Perry. I mean, they could be cruising down the road listening to Firework right now, but instead they're listening to us. So
that's right. That's right. By golly, no, it's all good. It's all good. What else is going on out there? By the way, I don't know when it's all going to go back to better, which it was like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I've seen the fuel prices. I don't get out much, right? I'm kind of nestled in my little spot here at Shady Acres, as we call it. And I have, my 45 feet of RV, and now that we're getting the weather, which has just been phenomenal. I mean, 70s, dude. We're talking I'm sorry. Plug your ears. Give it the la 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 la. 40, 75-degree days, and so I've got all my barbecues and smoker, everything's uncovered and plugged in and working, and it is happening here at Shady Acres. I've been able to get out and do that, but I go into town to shop to resupply. And yeah, I've seen the fuel prices, even here in Southern Oregon, $5 a gallon for diesel. It's just stupid right now.
Oh yeah.
Just stupid.
Well, it's me being involved in the political world now, naturally a lot of the local politician stuff, everybody's talking about, what's going on there because constituents are upset, and rightfully so. From what I'm seeing, hopefully it's temporary. I mean, clearly, we've to me, it's somewhat price gouging here in this country as far as that fuel spiking like it was. There really is virtually no reason, but the market also dictates it, and that's part of the problem is the world market. We still live off that, and that's one of the flaws we have in our American capitalist system, I guess, is the world market dictates. Even though we don't personally need that oil, it still goes off the world market price, and that's kind of one of the issues. But I think they're going to get it under control. Trump's pretty on top of things where it comes to that. He doesn't want much bad publicity, in that world, and I think he's gonna deal with it pretty quick.
Well, and I'll tell you the difference, between him and this administration and the prior. He's kind of like, suck it up, everybody. It's sort of what it is right now for the time being. Yeah. Where the other administration was like, oh, come here, little kids. We're going to fix everything and make it all better, which they didn't. Okay, so let's just get that out there. But the fact of the matter is you're 100% on point. It is the market. It is what dictates the price of it. And it's going to be what it is for right now. I know, like I said, I'm, tucked away in my little space here, and I'm not out there every day having to buy fuel like you guys out there earning a living doing it. I get it, because I used to do that, and believe me, I had my fun times out there with fuel spikes. I mean, when fuel hit $2 a gallon in our world back in the day, and this was, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to survive? Okay. Yeah. Now we're talking $5, $6, $7 a gallon. So, same question. Is there an answer? Is there a solution yet? Yeah, get the damn prices back down where they should be, and get the rates up, which we're always saying anyways. But there's a question out there. I'm not going to skirt it. I'm gonna address it. Chris, the answer to that question is, and this is what we've been told, it is the property, the Kentucky Exposition Center's policy. That's what we've been told, that they don't want that happening after hours or in the parking lot without what they deem as proper, I don't know, security,
yeah.
Yeah, and whatever it takes and needs to be in place for that kind of thing. Are we happy about it? No, it is what it is. So, yeah, that's what's going on. There'll be plenty of stuff to do and things going on. But that is certainly going to be missed. And it was a fun get together every year for everybody to be able to kind of reconvene and reunite there.
The good news is if you want to come hang out in the bar trailer, we always got large cars and guitars that's coming up. So that'll be the new first outing for the bar trailer this year. So Tony Justice is putting on that show, and we will be down in Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, hey, nice place to be too. And when is that?
That is, I want to say it's the first weekend of May. Let me confirm here. My brain's just as messed up. This is where we need Matt right now.
Matt, damn it, dude. That's it, man. May 8th and 9th. Large cars and guitars. May 8th and 9th. Bristol Motor Speedway. So that's the weekend after Trucking for Kids. So you can go to Trucking for Kids, and then you can go to Large Cars and Guitars, okay?
Yeah, just make one big loop across country. Why not? You never know. Crazier things have happened.
Well, I think so. I mean, why not? There's plenty of road out there to cover, and we'd love to have everybody out on the West Coast and get you over to Trucking for Kids. I mean, it's a charity event. It's for the kids. That's what it's all about. So
it's a great event.
Come on out there and do some good and have some fun, because it is, as we say, great fun for a good cause, or good fun for a great cause. I forget our own deal there, but yeah, that's what it is. Always a good time, and Famoso is a phenomenal property for what we do out there in the drag race and stuff. They just had their big March meet, which is a huge. In fact, check it out on YouTube. The March meet at Famoso, all the nostalgia cars out there. I always say trucks. I'm like car. I can't even say cars anymore. But nostalgia cars, drag, funny cars, everything out there, man. All the rats are out there. The gassers. Here's something, and I was going to ask if anybody knows out there, because I've been following drag racing all my life. Why did they build those big, tall gassers with the headers coming out, the fender wells, and the front ends way up in the air? What was the deal with that? Does anybody know?
I answer that question. So I have a friend. I actually, and he'd actually be a good one to come on the show sometime. I have a friend who he's actually he puts on a big event here at that drag strip I was talking about called Rock and Race, and it's the National Gassers Association. I think it's one of their national events, if I remember right. But huge, massive event. And those gassers, from my understanding, part of the reason of why they do that is it's to keep basically the engine up, the weight on the back of the car, to where it's almost like the cars kind of do more of a wheelie type thing, that the way the torque basically transfers through the body and everything else, and it's meant to put the torque to the back wheels and kind of keep the front suspension unloaded and light, I guess. So when they come down, they kind of get traction, and at least that's my understanding of it, is weight transfer.
Luke Jones, style and weight transfer. Yeah. So engineers won that bout. Aerodynamics be damned.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing aerodynamic about it. But those cars, when you go back to the, the golden age of drag racing and that bracket of car, it just exudes, drag racing, because that's what we see.
Yep.
When I was a kid, that's what I remember seeing, and models I built along with, the Snake and the Mongoose and the Blue Max and all these different cool cars that were on the track back in those days, man. Jungle Jim,
Yep.
I
Jungle
mean,
Jane.
yeah.
Yep.
Who,
Jungle. Her name was Jungle Jane. She was one of the big hot rod, flag girls or whatever,
no,
I guess.
Jungle Pam. Jungle Pam.
Pam, that's right.
Yeah.
Pam.
Yeah, Jungle Pam. She's still around, dude.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, still around. Man. Linda Vaughn, still around.
Wow.
Miss Hurst, yeah, Linda Vaughn, still around.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about this, just drag racing. This Big Daddy Don Garlitz got out. They brought him out for the Top Fuel call out on the weekend in Gator Nationals. 93 years old, dude.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
I know I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate because we have that gasser event here, and every year I get to experience, that nostalgic drag racing that you're talking about. I go to that event every year, and I'm not from that era, so I didn't get to live it, but I at least get to experience, what's left of it. And it's really cool to go watch some cars. I mean, man, it's a rush every time you go. It's, if you ever stand out at the starting line, and just those cars, the rumble and the sound, I mean, it is
like
unreal.
This.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, exactly. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We got to roll out, but check it out on YouTube. March meetup, or just search Famoso, and you'll see there's a guy that did a walk around the pits and the start line at the track, and he did a great job of capturing a lot of the cars, if not all of them, at this deal that just happened over there in Famoso. I think they were probably back to back with your event and their event, or maybe there's one and then the other, so that people can go to both. I don't know, but
ours is in late August normally.
Oh, late August. Oh, well then, okay. Well then, yours hasn't even happened yet. So these guys that were there, probably bunches of them go out and hit that.
I'm sure they'll come out here. Yeah,
no doubt. All right, listen, Matt, we missed you today, buddy, and we'll look forward to having you back next week. He definitely rounds out the morning drive here with us, and he would have been in it today, man. I'll tell you.
I know he's actually got a really cool event this week, and so there is actually down at Andersonville, the big Civil War prison. He has some ancestors that were actually in prison there, and they're doing like a get together and actually doing a big event for the ancestors that were imprisoned there. And he's actually headed down there, I think, later this week. I know he's got a lot on his plate getting ready for that trip and heading out with that. So that's probably, I'm sure, what he's doing today.
We'll give him a pass, but we want him back. So let's get Matt back. Again, everybody, today, be sure and tune in 5:00 Pacific time, wherever that puts you. If you're in the Central, that's 7. If you're in the East, that's 8 p.m. Tonight. So get in and get on. We'll be talking to all of our builders. We'll have everybody in: Luke, Randy, James, Andrew, and of course, JC and Toby will be in the show, in the studio as well. And we'll be talking about what's going to happen this year at Mid-America, Louisville, Kentucky, at Kentucky Exposition Center, Mid-America Truck Show, Paul K. Young Truck Beauty Championship. We'll be streaming all week from there. That will be happening on all of our channels. Well, it'll be happening on Facebook and YouTube. We will be live streaming Wednesday, brought to you by Brandon himself. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those will be split amongst some other sponsors with us, and of course the light show Thursday night. So 4 days of programming going to be happening from Mid-America and out to you. And my understanding is, and I don't know this for sure yet, but my understanding is we'll be the only ones doing that this year officially. So you'll be tuning in and checking it out if you want to see it at all, at least the way we do it. All right, guys, listen, thanks everybody for tuning in, and hope we see most of y'all, not all of you, this afternoon. I appreciate you guys tuning in the mornings. Brandon, let them go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, y'all. Keep the shiny side up. We'll see you this afternoon.